from the second half of 2023. You may already be in the small circle of AI painting. I hear his name frequently, and a series of rumors about him. For example, use it to draw faster and smoother pictures. But the configuration requirements are actually lower. For example, its function is very powerful. Just one click can load a nearly endless workflow to achieve, including portrait generation, background replacement, various upgrade functions including picture quasi-animation. The vast majority of you who click on this video, first contact with steady villagers. This scripture should be used. Automatic IBWE, right? But what if I told you, there's another tool, global search popularity. Instead, I overtook him. It has become almost the most popular AI painting app. Would you be surprised? Today's video, so we're going to talk about this, and this turns on AI painting. ComfyUI for the workflow era. Since SE was open sourced, there are many community developers. We created a very user-friendly graphical interface, in addition to our commonly used SWABWE and Invoke. And ComfyUI is also one of them. Therefore, he's actually a rather professional stabili. The runtime interface is just a node. This nodal interface, in fact, exists widely in a variety of professional productivity tools. For example, Blender, Unreal Engine, DaVinci, etc. He must be familiar with these software. No regular marquee, label button, only like this. Nodes connected by wires form a complete workflow from input to output. Its greatest significance is to improve our future stability, degree of freedom. When using other interfaces, you can probably only follow the developer's default number, the way to adjust limited parameters, to generate a fixed process. But in the fasting UI, free combination of nodes with various functions can evolve into thousands, hundreds of different ways to generate. At the same time, you can be timely call the output of a node as input to another node. Let's think about what we would have needed in different plates. The work carried out in the plugin, and their interlocking. Then implement some workflows. Fully automated operation. This is also useful for some AIGC applications. The function of packaging machine and stable diffusion provides great convenience. Now you can see a lot of these simple one-button scales. There is a high probability that ComfyUI is such a powerful tool. The underlying code of ComfyUI is very concise. This is also a platform that works more efficiently, and the reason why it is very friendly to low-end users. Due to its open architecture, injecting SDXL, SVD at all application time. Always be the first to. So let's use these new models and new features. The literal translation of comfy means comfort. Easy, but it's a great experience. May not be so easy. After all, nodal interfaces look a little more professional, right? But I want to tell everyone about ComfyUI. Interested in you. He could be more complicated, but it's not that difficult. If we take these AI, drawing tools are better than games. It's in the WBI. You have to face a linear level. But ComfyUI is like a big world to play. There is more map space. Gameplay mechanism. I need you to be more exploratory. Not necessarily more difficult than the former. What's next in this video? It will also sort out an easy way for you to get started. After reading the complete learning path of ComfyUI, ComfyUI for you. It ceases to be a difficult tool to handle. If you are new to AI painting, not very familiar with external UI either, I'd recommend you first go through another series on my homepage, explore his basic usage methods, and add a favorite to this video. As you become more and more skilled, you'll need him sooner or later, because there are many things you want to implement in the external UI, but suffer from cumbersome or limited functions. In ComfyUI, maybe only one chain is needed. A single workflow can be done. ComfyUI installation is very simple. If you are using the Windows platform, and the graphics card is an N card, then you just need to release it on the project homepage. Plate direct download by author Comfy. Official packages provided by Anonymous. It's okay. It comes with the required pre-environment. With dependent files. Extract it to a blank file on your computer. Clip. After clicking in, double-click the file to run NVIDIA GPU. You can start ComfyUI. Go to any additional installation operations. In the concise area, I attached the download address. I also attached the finish in the online disk, the entire package distribution version. If you want to start learning quickly, you can download it directly and use it. The videos in the series are also mainly demonstration using the Windows platform. If you are using the ACA or Linux, other operating platforms such as Mac, you can consider using the code locally. Step relative environment to complete the installation. The installation methods are summarized in the video industry, in the same document in the world. You can follow the smart steps inside. Over time, the details of the installation may vary. Please refer to the document for everything. Some other control distributions. The installation process may vary, but their kernel functions are exactly the same. It won't affect what you watch next. By the way, are there any configuration requirements? Generally speaking, configuration required to use control UI depends on the strength of the workflow you load in it. It's a basic generative function. Demand is pretty low. In the case of adding low parameters, devices with a minimum of 3 GB video memory can also run. But in my experience, want to achieve a better generation experience, the best memory is above 8 GB. Of course, if you use hard, the device or operating platform is not allowed. You can also consider leveraging some cloud providers, platform for computing services, or websites that generate services online. Get faster access to Covy. For example, one that supports the production of this tutorial. Line Electronic Ocean AIGC community. It's in his drawing tools. Covy is available online for everyone to use. The current stage is free to use. Log in every day and there are 100 wool. A wool can be generated once. Cost effective in the previous video. He was once recommended as a model website. Him now. It is also the first ComfyUI to develop online in China. One of the websites with workflow applications. You just need a video on a common website homepage. Click to start online drawing. Then switch to workflow mode on the left. You will get one without deployment. Out of the box. But with a local experience. Almost exactly the same ComfyUI. Not only can call network quality with one click. A variety of high quality models in stock. Comes pre-installed with a lot of features. The borrowing point tutorial has unmentioned features. He can do it. It will also be for you who are new to the road. That's a wonderful choice. If you are installing locally, use ComfyUI. Before the official launch, some simple configuration is required. Click to go to its root road. You will find its internal structure and World War I are very similar. If you only use ComfyUI, then you can put it in the models folder. Include checkpoints. Placement of various models such as contranets. Move the model of the corresponding type to the folder. Ready to use. I guess a lot. Friends model inventory must be stored in. Commonly used VitWi. There aren't hundreds of them. A few have tens of grams. Do you need to make a full copy? Takes up too much space. The author of ComfyUI apparently took this into account. So I added an interoperability function for him. Can help us. Quickly call various models of SDWI. You can find one under the trend. Profile for outer model path. Text editing tools like Timebook. After opening it, replace this paragraph. Become the VDY you have with the model. Root directory. Then save the file. Name the file from. Remove the suffix of the entire .example. Let the file name become. In this way, your CPU I can read Vivi. All the models in it. Back out here. Click to start. You will find that he is really fast. It takes less than 5 seconds to load. Enter the operation interface. Go here. We can start exploring CPUI freely. The operation interface of the rehabilitation UI is very simple. The core part is a freely draggable. Zoom in and out of the operation area. In the middle are various functional components that are connected together. That's a node. And you can use the mouse wheel to control the interface. Zoom left button. Hold and drag. It allows the camera to focus on different boundaries. A lot of math. The first time the user faces this interface will be connected by these nodes and wires. A little overwhelmed. Why don't we use it to draw a picture first? In the most commonly used stable division WebWi, to command the AI to draw a picture, all your operations can be summarized into one set. Fix process. Pick a model with the right style. 2. Enter a string of prompt words that describe the screen. 3. Adjust a series of drawing parameters. 4. Click to generate. Okay, a picture is drawn. The process is very simple. You must have repeated it countless times in WebWi. How about ComfyUI? This initial interface, it actually corresponds to the most in WebWi. Basic article graph. Here it is. To generate an image, you only need a toy. The same 4 steps. Let me show you how it works. 1 at the leftmost checkpoint loader here. Load a large model with the right style. 2 in the middle these 2 right-click text. Encode prompt word box here. Write the positive and negative prompt words. 3 anti-latent image on the far right and K3 pale. Here, set the size of the generated image and various sampling parameters. Number 4 click to generate. Wait a minute, what about the generate button? There's a row of function buttons in the lower right-hand corner. If you want to start a generation in ComfyUI, just click the first Q prompt. Then a picture will be drawn. But before getting a picture, you will first experience a very amazing process. This series of nodes, it works in a logical sequence. When it is the turn of a certain node to work, he will be lit by a group of green boxes. Each node has its own, according to our settings, option to do some processing on the model and image. When his work is over, we'll put this green box, pass it to the next node connected to it. Nodes that light up in sequence. It's like an assembly line in a factory. Completed including loading of the model, interpretation of keywords, diffusive, life within success. The steps required to produce an image. After all nodes have completed their work, it will be at the far right node here. Spit out a picture. Okay, a picture is drawn. Is it exactly the same? Such a set provides a variety of different functions, and can be connected in series. Output node combination of complete structure. We call it ComfyUI. A workflow in. Compared to ViVUI full welding. Dead set of work panels. Nodes in ComfyUI, like Stabilivius. The outer shell of this thing is removed. Then look at the various accessories inside it. It works the same way, and the other buttons in the lower right corner all exist to serve this workflow, such as save and load, corresponding to the saving and loading of the workflow. The refresh button below, you can refresh the status of the current working interface. Clip space is for copying, a clipboard for migrating images. As for the clear button below, generally speaking, I don't recommend you to touch it, because just click. He will borrow all the points on your interface. All cleared. Was it intentional or accidentally intentional? What should I do if the nodes are gone? Don't worry. Remember what that workflow looked like just now. We might as well try to use copy. Various functions in it to restore it. If you want to add a node to the workspace, just right-click anywhere. Once, then a very long selection will pop up. Take the first item in the selection at Note. And to the right, ComfyUI. Built-in function nodes. These nodes, they are organized into groups. Remember our tattoos? Where does the graph workflow start? And on the far left is the node of the larger model. We found a category of loaders. Nodes of this classification, mainly used for things like ComfyUI. Load various functional models? Click on it. This load checkpoint is all we need. One click. It will appear in your operation area. Hold it down with the left mouse button. You can drag it to any position you want. You can go through this node. Read a checkpoint model in the magic library. In Comfy, to adjust the parameter options on a node, you can click on him first. Bring up a text box or drop-down menu, or through the arrows on both sides. Control options toggle and numbers increase or decrease. What is the next node after learning the model? Write the prompt word, right? During the generation of slip devices, the prompt we typed as a conditioning, and conditions participate in the generation. The following emails are under the category of conditioning. We can find the click just now. Node of tax encode. Bring it up. We need a total of 2 prompt word boxes, because they're both positive and negative. Have you passed? Nodes can also be copied. Check this node. Click Ctrl to add C. Press Ctrl again to add V. A node exactly like him. It was copied. But it's not enough just to add them to the panel. In order for these nodes to work together, we also need to connect them together. And the process is connecting the nodes. Take this keyword node as an example. His left and right sides each has a marked dot. We call it a node's port. In the workflow, a node must first pass through the port on the left, receive information from the previous node to start working, and when he finished his work, you have to go through the port on the right, the product he processed, output to the next node. But there are also some nodes that have only one port. For example, the node that just loaded the model, this kind of node. This is often the beginning of a workflow. There are also 3 different output ports. On behalf of after he loaded the model, we'll break the information in the model into 3 pieces. Deliver to nodes with different needs. This pipeline, that's the line we're going to connect. When you press and hold down any port with the left mouse button and drag it out, you can pull a thread from him. We can use this wire, speak the clip of the model loader port, and the clip receiving port of the magnetic frame on the right. Connect to a piece, pull to the same position and let go. It sticks on like it's magnetic. Look, the 2 nodes are successfully connected to block 1. The reason why these 2 short ports can be connected is because they're all yellow. If the port color is different, represents the data forms they output or receive. The formula is also different. Can't be connected together. Data from another output port can output to multiple receiving ports. In this step, we can clip the model, enter it into the forward prompt magnetic frame respectively, and reverse prompt magnetic frame. But a hint magnetic frame cannot receive clips from 2 models simultaneously. Output once 2 nodes are connected online. You can move them around freely. The connection will not be disconnected. By the way, if you want to move multiple nodes simultaneously, you can hold down the control key in an empty position and drag the mouse to frame the selection. Press and hold the shift key to move the combination. Tip this later is the one that occurs on most fasting stomachs. Sole components in unexpected workflows. You can find him under the category of sampling. Here is also a series of realms including upgraded version of sampling settings. But we are today. You only need to use the most basic version. Say his soul, because he is responsible for the entire generation process. The most important part, sampling to dry, stabilis. The principle of generating images is through magic. On a random noise graph, condition to create. The sampler controls this de-drying process, including how to make it, how many iterations have been completed to create energy. These control elements, that is, various options in the K3 Pro. You must have been exposed in VBR. For example, what about seed step correlation sampling methods? But there are a few points where it's easy to get acclimatized. Yes, we can sort it out first. One is how the seeds are controlled. We create jobs in YBI. -1 let the seed input be random. But in the ComfyUI, random or not just rely on. The following options are used to control. Renderings. There will be a random new one after each generation. Seed fix is fixed seed. The remaining 2 options correspond to the generated. Add 1 or subtract 1 from the seed. The second is the sampling method. Friends who come into contact with ComfyUI for the first time often have doubts, because a range of yield options are available here. And IBWI don't exactly match this problem. Here's the answer. Sampling method in IBWI. This is a simplified version. Sample. The scheduler and its scheduler are grouped together. Go to WebWI for example. Our most commonly used DPM plus 2M cars. In fact, it is a DPM plus a 2M adapter. Add a scheduler called Karus. Made together. In the same UI, they were split up into 2 options. If you want to apply this method, you should select DPM PPRM in the first option. Exactly. The PP in here represents 2+, which is Judja. Then select Karus in the second scheduler. K-Supper has 4 input ports. He can't start working until he fills it all in. 2 of them correspond to the front and negative Q word. If you're worried about confusing them, you can right-click the standalone node, select the opening inside, rename the node, or with color, give them 2 more eye-catching colors. Monos is the model used for sampling. Where is it connected? Look at the model loader at the beginning. Isn't there a vacancy here? The color is also correct, no matter how far away these nodes are. As long as the data types are consistent, you can connect them together. You may have also noticed, there is no so-called size setting in KSamperl, because the job doesn't belong to him. Who cares? Our mail menu, under the latents category, find this blank, shallow middle image node. Pull it out and hang a thread. Just connected to the remaining powder. On the color input port, the width and height are set here, is equal to the width and height of the final image. The setting of batch size is also carried out here. Writen is a nomenclature of pictorial data, can be said to be the stability version, the building blocks of this whole set of generative algorithms, and all the things in our generation process, the creation of images, diffusion. It's all done in this magical shallow space. There are a lot of interesting things to say about him, but we're not going to talk much today. If you are interested, can it be on the channel? Learn more in another video. It is also because of his existence, the results we generate with Xamper. It's not a picture in the conventional sense. This shallow spatial data, on the far right side of the original workflow, it is dedicated to receiving, and save the node of the picture. It can be found in the image 4 category, but its receiving port is blue. It doesn't match the output data of the K300. What do you do? At this time, a transfer interface is required. Come help us get knockin'. Convert data to regular images. You must be familiar with its name, called VAE under the latest classification. We picked this VAE decoding. Then connect him to the 2 ends. He also needs a VIA, models to support his work. This time, we can go back to the model at the beginning. Loader here, because he will also have a VA output interface. Help you call the VIP that comes with the big model. Finally connect it. Click to start the pair. Watch him run smoothly. Generated a picture for us. This is the most basic workflow. Contains a stabilized model that works. All the required functional components. In the previous model training series, we also analyzed the way SD models work. Compare this diagram with the nodes in Y compare. Let's see how it goes. Isn't it similar? So many people will say, Control is more able to expose SD. It's essentially a runtime interface. Study him. Deepen the understanding of the underlying logic of AI painting tools. Is very helpful. And if you also follow the video, connected to such a workflow, well, congratulations. You are also someone who has assembled SD by hand. This time, just hit a 6 in the bullet comment. Encourage yourself. Wait, why did you clear all the nodes again? Isn't that supposed to leave room for everyone's bullet comments? By the way, if you accidentally put the seal skin, the irrational node is clear. You can also click the load devoted below. Reload this set of default workflows. Look at this article and the graph workflow is back. Took so much effort. The workflow we created. Can you only do the most basic tattoo pictures? Who said you only need to change a few small places? From tattoo to native. The image map requires us to enter a picture. Looking for this feature, our first reaction was to go in this category of pictures. Sure enough, there is a loaded images here. He joins in. You can pass him. Go and load the pictures on your computer. The loaded picture can be entered as picture information. Can also be used as a mask, corresponding to output ports of different colors. It will also be in the sampling process of the K300. Instead of we just passed another node. Create a blank and shallow space image. If you want to unconnect, just hold down the interface and drag. Let go anywhere nearby. Just unplug it. But they can't connect directly, because the colors don't match. What to do then? Find and transfer interface. That's VIP. In this case, we need to use the reverse interface. This is the VAE encode. To turn ordinary images into late data. Don't forget to bring in a VAE from the model. But we also know that some models themselves contain a VAE. The drawing effect is not good. When we can externally load a node with a low VAE, select other VAE through it alone. For those unwanted nodes, we just have to select it. Press delete again on the keyboard. It was deleted by us. But if this is directly connected, generated image size, it will be strictly the same as the imported original image. In order to redefine size, we have to be in the middle. Create another upscale latent component. Use it to redefine the image size. And in the process of image mapping, K300 bottom of the noise option will work. It has another U in Vivi, a more familiar name, called redraw amplitude. Remember to turn it down properly. Otherwise, the result will be painted out. It looks nothing like the original picture. Check the column start. This is the basic process of applying raw paint. This is called the workflow paradigm. After you have independently built editing power at the moment, he's just beginning to show his full charm. Some you compare in IBWI, accustomed operation. In fact, it is not difficult to achieve in ComfyUI. Like LoRa. You don't need me to tell you. There must be corresponding options in the loader. Here's an exploration I'd like to share with you. Tips for fasting accidents. In the face of a contact you have not touched, observe his interface color. It's pretty easy to tell. He should join. Which environment is in this fixed process? Like here its inputs and outputs are model clip. Then he has a high probability. It is connected to this that has the same. Behind the big model of the interface, we disconnect the original wires one by one like this. Add the opening point. Reconnect the lines. Because the input and output are identical. This LoRa. The loader looks a bit like a hanging. Hang the same piece on your big sunglasses. But if you happen to have watched the previous LoRa training-related tutorials, you'll know when we use LoRa, which happens to be using it as an add-on network. Add to the main network. Change a part of him. Fine-tuning the masses. Do you feel like you are in ComfyUI? The quality is a little closer. Pick a LoRa you like. Adjust the selection through the following two options. Add some vertical words appropriately to the prompt words. Start the pairing again. See the effect of LoRa. Is it applied to the picture? This is how you build and edit in Control. A basic approach to workflow. You've learned how to operate it, right? Now use the skill you just learned. Do a super invincible cool job in Control. Scarring. Don't worry, who said we should build it ourselves? In addition to high degree of freedom, in addition to strong controllability, the Control workflow has another major feature. They have a high degree of mobility. Can be exported as a complete file and share it with other people. If someone else opened this file on their computer. All nodes in the workflow can be include keywords. All parameters are reproduced. That's for us. Even if you can't learn how to make it all at once. Do these complex workflows. But you can still copy an assignment. The core of workflow saving and loading. That's the pair we just mentioned. Safe and low button. Save button. You can put this workflow on your current panel. Guaranteed to call a document. After this file name, this is generally JSON here. Fill in the file name and click confirm. It will be sent through the browser. Download it to your computer. Send it to someone else. Someone else's ComfyUI on another computer. You can use this low button. Read JSON files. Put your workflow. Replicated on my own computer. However, there are still several kinds of hidden in ComfyUI. Hidden workflow loading method. This method for loading a JSON configuration file. Just the most basic. Sometimes, you saw IBWI shared by others online. Workflow. There is no JSON that can be downloaded. File pair. Nothing. There is only one picture like this. This time, might as well try this picture. Save to your computer. Then drag it into the ComfyUI window. Let go again. This picture. Implicit workflow. It was loaded into your ComfyUI. By the way, if you try, generated some pictures into the ComfyUI. You can also quickly read and learn the questions inside. Poetry and various claims to arguments. And it gets even better. There are also workflows that are shared in some places. Not even a picture. There's only such a big event that people can't figure out. How to load the code. Select them all. Control and C to copy. Then switch to Control add V, paste him to C. A workflow is loaded. 3 ways of workflow. corresponding to 3 postures for copying homework. Did you get it all? Actually, the workflow data read by these 3 methods is exactly the same. If you use some websites that can read the original data information of pictures, load these amazing workflow images, or use a notepad, open the saved workflow JSON file will find. His ontology is such a string of code. They record you in the workflow, each node used, adjust each parameter, and that's why the various workflows we do in KTVY is basically operating on this data. Change. And if you accidentally adjust a parameter by mistake, or delete a borrowing point by mistake, then try pressing Ctrl+Z on the keyboard. You can usually undo the operation. Go back to your previous step. There is a way to copy homework. Where can I find homework? First, to recover developers from accidents, we have provided you with a lot. Take advantage of the default node functionality, the established working basin design. He can basically achieve external friendship. 99% of common operations, including image map, partial repetition, high definition repair, seismic resistance generation, etc., even including some of your VIP. Things that can't be done easily and why. For example, this workflow can be achieved now. Different regions on the same image. Draw with different keywords. In the 4-prompt word box, enter different natural landscapes separately. Then through the special node of this set area, allocate the effective area of each prompt. Mix them together again. Can generate odd connections like this. See the scene. How is it amazing? The pedal segment of this worker, also string, connected to a high-definition fixed node combination. Just set the parameters. It will automatically include every picture on the body. Do a high-definition enlargement online. There are many other artifact workflows like him. It's all from ComfyUI. Can be achieved with function. He passed this ComfyUI example on time. Shared all the workflows. It also includes a very detailed description. Ming. You can also download this separate project by quick save. All workflows saved as images. I also paid you a download address in the introduction. If you want to start exploring anti-fatigue, I will suggest you take all these built-in workflows first. Some of the more critical node application skills. We will also talk about it in our follow-up video. Secondly, with the continuous improvement of the accident ecology of rehabilitation, there's a lot of rehabilitation out there. Unexpected workflow breakdown site, and some model websites. We have dedicated sections for workflow sharing. For example, the one we just introduced is, in his homepage, can be applied through this workflow. See a variety of workflows. Click in. You can download these search files locally, and freely apply and edit this and that question, because he provides a matching ComfyUI build service, so you can also click directly on the platform. View workflow. This workflow is automatically transferred. It's on your edit page. You can directly start online editing an application. Generate images faster. It's easier to start learning. Or create your own workflow. During the period of contact with Comfy, I also collected a lot. Workflow sharing using sites. If you also want to keep a copy, then you might as well give this video a 3-click link. Then in the introduction area below the triple button, check the addresses of my sites. Reload. All this complicated stuff that was downloaded from the web. Sometimes you will encounter package errors like this. Some nodes cannot be displayed. The box is red. This is because in your control UI, no corresponding custom node is installed. Lack of the necessary components for this workflow. Custom node for control UI is equivalent to the function plugins in IBWI are the same. Generally, you need to go through a UI manager called Comfy, something to carry out. Administration and installation can support you to run more advanced, powerful workflow of features. Install various nodes for your Comfy. It was a very interesting process. No hurry. We'll be in the next video soon. Discussed his trial method in detail. About 10 months ago, when I first came into contact with Comfy, under a video, I saw a comment like this. As a fan of AI painting, I am very grateful to ComfyUI, because he helped me find gang. Start exploring Stabilifio, the joy of the city, with satisfaction. At first I thought this was a bit of an exaggeration, but after more than half a year of contact, I'm just starting to realize. His greatest value is not in those that are faster, more powerful appearance. It's about these nodes, represented by AI image generation, qualitative excavation, and the workflow that they constitute. What about representatives? Explore more possibilities at the application level. That's why I say, it is the new one that you are most worthy of mastering at present. Tool. Because it's not just an accumulation of past technologies. Precipitation also represents what we aspire to. The future where AI drawing can be omnipotent.